Let's chat about the PARA method. Now, the PARA method is not so much a productivity system, but more an organizational system, and the PARA method will change your life. So let's chat about how I use the PARA method every single day and how it can help you as well. Hey everybody, and welcome back to the channel. My name is Nick Russell, and this is Let's Chat Tech with Nick. Now, in the intro, I mentioned the PARA method, and I said that it will change your life. Now, it may not change your life, but at the very least, it's going to help you get way more organized with your digital life. And before we get into how I use it and how it can help you, let's chat a little bit about what the PARA method is. Now, PARA is an acronym that was created by a man named Tiago Forte. And Tiago is an author of two of my favorite books, Building a Second Brain and, of course, the PARA method. So, what is the PARA method? Projects, areas, resources, and archive. And let's break down what each of those mean. So when you're organizing your digital life, you want to organize it into 4 separate folders. A projects folder, which is things that need to be done immediately and have an end date. So if it's something that has to get done today or tomorrow and there's a start and end date, that goes into your projects folder. Areas is something a little more long-term, like ongoing tasks, ongoing projects, something that you use often, but doesn't have an end date. Now, resources, that's pretty self-explanatory. This is a resource you're going to use and recall often, but it's not something you use as much as something that would go into your areas folder. For example, PDFs or lead magnets that you've got online and you want to use those as tools going forward, that's something that'll go into your resources folder. Lastly, archive, and that's really self-explanatory. The archive folder is something where you're going to archive all of your digital information and something that you're not really going to need anytime soon, but it's there to recall at a later date. Now, for me, I use the PARA method in a number of different ways and on a number of different platforms. So first and foremost, I don't store any information on my laptop. It's all stored in Google Drive. Now, in Google Drive, I have 2 separate PARA method folders. I have a PARA system set up for all of my personal files, and then a PARA folder, PARA system set up for all of my business folders. And then, of course, in each of those, they both have a project, an area, a resource, and an archive. And I know exactly where things are when I need them, because if it's something personal, it's easy to go into that folder. Business, everything is there, and it keeps things separated nicely. Now, second, I use it in Samsung Notes. Now, it's no secret, I absolutely love Samsung Notes. It's something that I use almost every day on my Galaxy Z Fold 4. And a way to keep all of my notes organized on my Z Fold 4 is using the PARA method. So I have folders for each of those, and that's how I keep all of that. Now, as well as Samsung Notes, I don't use Samsung Voice as much, but I have separated folders in Samsung Voice using the PARA method. Now, the other app that I use all the time and I've set up PARA is Todoist. All of my projects and all of my tasks are organized using the PARA method. Now, with Todoist, I have it sectioned off in all of my tasks that need to get done, and then I use the Teams version. So the Teams version is something that's separate, and I use PARA in there to separate stuff for my work and my client stuff. That's all in Teams, but for the most part, all of my tasks are separated by the PARA method. And lastly, I use it in my Chrome browser. So my Chrome browser has all of the folders set up, and as well as an inbox. So if I need to look at an article really quickly or a website really quickly, I'll bookmark it for a short period of time, put it in the inbox, and then I can move that wherever I need it. But even my browser is organized in using the para method. So that's it. A really quick video showing you what the para method is, how I use para, and how you can use that for yourself. Now, if you wanted to have a look at both of Tiago's books, Building a Second Brain and the para method, so you can take a much deeper dive into both systems, as well as Building a Second Brain, I highly recommend that book. I'll put a link in the description for each of those books, so you can have a read, a listen, however you read books. And that's it for this week's video. Stay tuned, I've got a brand new video coming out next week as well.